Yeah, hold on one second. What I will do, I'm going to respond to. I'm not even going to interpret Genesis 1:26. I'm going to let an apostle interpret it. So that would be an infallible interpretation. Your interpretation, my interpretation, may be fallible. Okay, because there's nobody who actually quotes this and exegetes it in the way that you do and says that God is talking about his triune being. This is a Trinitarian argument. So what I will do, I'm gonna you believe Paul is an apostle,
Yeah,
right?
but
And then
if I interject, you remember Christ quoted this from I'm trying to remember what part of John it was.
yes, he
I'll
quotes it in
find it.
Matthew 19 and I think Mark chapter 10. But we can go there.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is this was in relation. Wait. This was in relation to divorce, if I'm not mistaken, right? And,
yeah.
And in his words, he said, "What God put together, let no man put asunder." Right. So we got two individuals. If we are to understand the text, you got two individuals coming together to be one, right?
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm gonna do,
right?
I'm gonna
and in Genesis 1:26, we got one person who is two, right?
Yeah. 1 second. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna allow the New Testament.
No, but you agree what I just said, right? That
What
Jesus says that the two is one, and in Genesis it also says that the one is two, right?
The two shall become one flesh. Yes, he quotes it.
Right, and in Genesis, the one also in in man, right? There was also Eve, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say.
Can we have a singular polarity then?
Prima. The problem is, you're exegeting, I can exegete, Anthony can exegete, and we can all be misunderstanding what the scripture. So what I'm saying, let's go to an inspired apostle who let him exegete it, and let's see if we agree with him. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Is that fair?
All right. What text you want to use?
Okay, so we're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. I'll start from verse 1. I'm reading from the King James. It says, "Be ye followers of me, even as I am also of Christ." Okay? "Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God." Now, in that passage, when Paul says the head of Christ is God, who's that?
This is the incarnate Christ. This is the eternal Son who took on human flesh.
No problem. But when it says the head of Christ is God, who is that referring to?
It's referring to the Father.
Beautiful. Okay. So it says, "Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonors his head. But every woman that prayeth or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head." But that is even
just give me back the verses. You said 1 Corinthians chapter 11.
Yeah.
What verse?
Where are you going? Where are you going with this? Where are you going with this?
No. I'll let him. But what verse?
Verse 6 now. "For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. For now, here's the point I'm trying to make. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God. But the woman is the glory of the man." Okay, and then it goes on.
Okay.
Do you agree with that? But he is the image and glory of God. Now remember, you said God is the Father. Now when it says, "Let us make man in our image," according to Paul, man is the image of God. It's just one person. He's just the image of the Father. So any Trinitarian are trying to say that man is the image of the Trinity, Paul says you're wrong, because man is the image of God, who you agreed is the Father of one person.
Yeah, but what was the context?
Is that really what you made us go through that whole thing to say that? That was some of the worst exegesis I've actually ever heard in my life.
Okay, so when Paul says, "For man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God.
Right.
What was bad about?
Let's back up. What's the context? What's the context of these passages Paul is talking about here?
Okay, it's talking about covering your head, right? We all agree. Head covering.
So we're not talking about deityship of Jesus and deityship of the Father or anything. We're just talking about how you ought to pray, right?
You're assuming Trinitarian into the passage. Paul was not a Trinitarian.
No, you're assuming Unitarianism.
I'm not assuming anything.
You're assuming Unitarian, buddy. That doesn't mean that it's also wasn't made in the image of Christ and the Spirit as well.
Oh, okay, 1 second. But see, this is what I'm saying with Trinitarian. You're flip flopping on the word God. When it says God, you said it meant the Father. Now, when I say man is made in the image and glory of God, now you want to flip flop.
Right, but who is speaking? Right, but who is speaking?
It's Paul. All this is Paul writing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he's saying,
what is Paul saying? Right.
It says, talking about man is the image and glory of God, which you agreed God represents or equals the Father, meaning man was made in the image of one person, not the Trinity. The passage is so clear.
But in this, no. You asked us based on the previous question. No, you're trying to be slick. Listen, wait. No, wait. This was the question you asked because it doesn't match. What you asked us before was in verse 3. You said, "Who is the head of God? Who is the head of Christ?" And we said, "The Father." You're trying to implant.
Yeah. Right.
No, right. Come on, bro.
It's so bad. Not only that. Hold on. Let's even stop for a second. Let's go with his logic for a second. In Hebrews 1:3, it says that Christ is the exact imprint of the Father's nature. So
we can go there. We can go there.
No, we don't need. Don't stop for a second. Just stop and listen for a second. Okay. Listen for a second. Number one, you took something in the context that was much earlier, and then you implied that back in verse 7. Okay, that's just and on top of that, you still need to account for why it's our who was man created in the image of, and God says our image.
Okay, so
on top of that, Christ is the exact imprint of the Father's nature. Hebrews 1:3.
The Greek word is character, and it doesn't. Anyway, we can go into what that actually means, but let me just make this point very clear.
I know what the Greek word is, but what you restating what the word is there? That's not an argument. What does that even mean?
Listen, I'm dealing with Genesis 1:26, and I'm using Paul. Paul is exegeting Genesis 1:26, and he says, "For man."
No, this is not about John 20.
Yeah, Genesis 1, I mean, come on, man, that's so bad.
Well, okay, 1 second. It says, "For man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much he is the image and glory of God." When it says, "Let us make man in our image," what do you think it's talking about? Do you not think Paul is referring to Genesis 1:26 when he says, man was made in the image and glory of God?
Yeah, but why should he not cover his head? What was the reason for Paul saying this?
That's not the premise of the argument.
Listen, that's you remember we said what's the context? The context is about what?
Okay, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. That's not what I'm trying to get at. I know your point,
but let's deal with the context of the passage that you're bringing.
You know, it's totally
in the context, irrelevant. It says that if a man prays, right? It says what? A man ought not to cover his head when he is praying. So we're talking about praying, right, before God, right?
Yep. But the conclusion...
Paul is now giving a reason why you shouldn't do it, right?
And that's what I'm trying to say is, man...
So the discussion is not about...
1 second, brother.
The discussion is not about...
Is man, according to Paul, is man made in the image of the Trinity, or is he made in the image of the Father? According to this
passage. The Father, Son, and Spirit. I told you.
It said God here. We didn't say it was Father. You said it was Father.
You
fibbed on us. No. Your question first was, and listen, I'm very clear when I'm listening. Your first question was in verse 3. You asked us the head of Christ, And you say, who is that
Is-
person there? Who is God there? And we both, my brother who I just met, we said, oh, that's the Father. Then
Okay.
you jump down to say, oh, since it's God in that one, since it's the Father, that it's saying, but that's not what verse 7 is saying.
Okay, so are you saying now the term God changes its meaning in those passages? Is that what you're telling me?
No, we have to develop the context. Because we
So
can
are you
just use
saying that? Are
any
you saying that glory? Wait, are you trying to say that glory of God in that verse is referring? Are you asking us what glory of God means in what is it,
No,
verse 7
no.
or 8?
I'm not asking you what glory of God means. I'm saying, according
Well,
to
that's what it says
Paul.
in the text.
No, what I'm
Yes,
saying.
in Paul.
Okay,
So read
here's
the
my argument.
text in verse
Okay, here's
7.
my argument.
It says,
Okay, here's,
hold on.
okay,
It
one
says
second.
he is the image. He is the image and glory of God. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. So
Okay.
listen to my argument. Paul lists a series of categories: man, woman, Christ, God. Yeah, and there's a hierarchy: woman, man, Christ, God. God is at the top. Christ is under the God. Man is under Christ.
wait. We have to interpret it in
Brother,
context.
please let me just
It
make
would
my
be
point.
Father then.
One
You'll
second.
have to identify. Let's classify it correctly. So if I'm using your classification, I'll go with it. So it says woman, man, Jesus, the Father, right?
No, it doesn't
Correct?
say. It doesn't use the word Father. It uses the word God. See what I mean? You're putting in words.
Okay, then what? Well, then what would God mean there then?
Yeah, obviously, I believe God is a father, but he doesn't use the word father. That's the point. God equals father. So what my point is,
Well, then that doesn't help you. If we just use the word God and we don't articulate who it is, then your argument falls. That's the whole point. Because that's what you were trying to say, that the glory of the Father is the word God there in verse 7.
Okay, so you
So it
agree
destroys
in
your own
verse.
argument.
Oh no, 1 second, brother. Paul's making there's categories, right? Are you agreeing there's categories? Woman is one category, man is another category, Christ is another category, and God is another category, right? Are we agreed on that? So Christ is
Yes,
not
according
God.
to this.
God is not Christ in that category. Christ is not man
Yeah,
in that
but
category.
who are we calling God in this category here?
Say that again.
Who are we calling God in this
Obviously,
category?
God is the head of Christ. Yes, so that means Christ is not God. That would be the plain
Right,
meaning of
but
the passage.
who is God in this
Horrible.
category?
Obviously, the
Yeah,
Father.
no, because he would just refute his own words when he said it's not the Father, right?
So all right,
No,
let's
I'm
make
saying,
this
I'm
really
just trying to
easy
be
then. Let's
nice,
make
man.
this really easy. Let's make this really
no,
easy then. Okay. Hold on. Let's
here's
make
what
this
you're
really
doing.
easy. So when God says, "Let me," hold on. When God says, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness," what does the "our" mean then?
The hour, like I said, what Josh said, and it's what I believe, is talking about the heavenly council, the sons
So
of
you're
God.
saying that? Can you find me any text in all of the Scripture where it says that we're created in the image of angels?
Well, why do you think they're called sons of God? Why do you think they're called sons of God?
Because
No,
God
understand the
created them.
question. No, he's asking you if we are made in the
No.
image of angels.
No,
So you're
one
telling
second.
me we're made in the image of angels, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you know what they refer to. When they see an
Yeah, but
angel, they
are
see one
angels
like
created?
1 second, one like the Son of Man. That's another title given to angels. One like the Son of Man.
Okay. My question is, where can you find me in Scripture where we're created in the image of angels?
Well, the fact that the angels look like men, then obviously we're created in their image, right?
What?
Okay. All right. Now let's
What?
let him slide with that one. It doesn't really matter. I was going to ask him to define
Wait.
counsel.
Let me
Who's
follow
in
up
the
with that
council?
though. Let me follow up with that though. Let me follow up with
Yeah.
something. So, are you saying that the angels were with Jehovah when He created all things?
No, when he created man, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But
So you have no.
brother.
Just for clarification, though, you have no text. You
Angels,
have no
the
text.
angels. Go on.
Hold on. So just for clarification, you have no text that shows us that we're created in the image of angels, correct?
No direct text, but I have a direct text that says we are created in the image of God, which you agreed is the Father, and that's all I need.